Testing, testing, peace and love to those of you who are watching live. I appreciate you for your amazing attention. We are closing out 2025 as we know it. That is wow. When I tell you this year has went by like the blinking of an eye, I honestly mean that. I don't know how you all experienced it, but for me, it has been I would say turbulent, yet quick, but also a lot of aha moments and learning moments for me as well. And some of us, it may not have been the greatest year. Like I know for me, the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025 has been one of my most challenged years. I really started to make more strides this year, but I really feel like in the next cycle, the next harvest is going to be something beyond that's going to shock me beyond even what I've imagined. So I really trust the same for everyone going into this new year cycle. You made it. We're still making it, and just keep your prayers up and keep close to your heart and mind and soul. Keep staying and breathing in alignment. That's the best thing that I can say to you at this time. So without further ado, we're going to get into what we are talking about right now. Okay. So, what's so interesting and what I constantly find myself being redundant about, which is a good thing, because in order for us to constantly be in the motion of learning, digesting what it is that what we are and who we are, we have to hear something over and over. And I'm finding that I've been doing this work for almost 10 years now, y'all. Almost 10 years in the naturopathic world, specializing in iridology, which is my first and forever will be a love for me because of how amazing that science is, iridology. But really helping our people and really all people alike to understand exactly what this is and what we have. I had someone the other day say to me, like, that eye thingy or that thing that you do. And I said, wow, and no shade to how people describe it. You're only describing it that way because you really don't know that it reflects back to you and how powerful you are and what you are and how you were divinely constructed as holographic maps that are placed on this planet in such a way where your iris, I call them little fractal holograms, right? Literally, everything is constantly repeated by looking in your eyes. Everything is being told by looking in your eyes, whether it's your current health and not just your physical health, but your emotional and spiritual health as well. Whether it's your current health, but your past and even possible future health as well. So we really have to, when we're going into this new cycle, right? This cycle of one. And for what I'm gathering in my spirit, this cycle is really all about knowing what you are, and trusting what you are. I think a lot of people, again, we come here and we have this spiritual amnesia. And this is a lot that's going to be going in my book. And shout out to my best-selling work that's actually coming up. I would say briefly as we continue on to the conversation, I announced the book coming out almost a year ago, and I'm so excited, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna really like blow the house away with this book, and I'm still working on it. I wasn't in a place, in an environment that was safe enough for me to create. And so that has been the holdup with this amazing work. It's going to be a book about iridology like no other book on the market you've ever seen. Okay, so I'm not taking any more pre-orders. I'm only, once the book is physically in my hand and it's physically going to be out there for you to actually invest in, is when you'll see that coming back up on the site. Matter of fact, I'm going to have my own site personally for book sales. Okay. So back to the scheduled program, really diving into this science, really the science of you. When we look at the word iridology, I mean, that's a fairly new term, right? Iris means looking at, the colored part of the eyes. And then we look at ology, that's the study of. All of this goes back into you, right? All of this is a representation of who and what you are. And so for you to have that power, right? And a lot of us don't believe that we are that powerful. I'm going to say it here so that you can let that seep in to every nerve, every cell, every fiber of your being. Yes, you are that powerful to where your body was divinely created as a fractal universe to be able to pierce through and see beneath the surface what challenges that you may be facing maybe in the future, or what you're facing now, and even what you have faced before. Okay. And so because we have so much light that over time it's been dimmed, right? Because we believe that we have to be realistic or live in this reality, right? The reality is that constantly, most of us get up every single day and go and make somebody else dream greater, right? We forgot about our own dreams. We lay them to the wayside. And I mean, we had these amazing dreams when we were younger, when we were children, but then when we get older as adults, we say, we don't have time for that, or we have to be realistic, right? And so when you hear a person saying that, that person is basically uttering from just constant, what I want to say, just from constant, oh gosh, this words, I'm getting stuck here. You guys can put it in the comments too. Just constant, what our parents have been telling us, or how we were raised by our parents. Get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, and do the same thing over and over and over again. And so over time, we have lost that power. We have lost that spark. We have lost that imagination and how to express ourselves. And then we have lost the belief of how powerful we are to heal thyself. And so I'm here to let you know that you are that powerful to heal thyself. You are you have the power to diagnose yourself. And these eyes are your holographic maps. They are maps to your multi-dimensional selves, right? And so, as I've said in the beginning of starting this video, I've been in this work for almost 10 years. I have seen over 500 irises, y'all. And the more irises I see, the more I learn from you all. I have to shout out all of my clients that I've ever had. I mean, I've had, like I said, over 500, and every single time that I see a different client, I'm constantly learning more about how amazing this science is, and how amazing that we were divinely constructed. I mean, sometimes I get aha moments when I'm looking at my client's iris, and then I ask them about a specific health challenge that they may have had 10, 20 years ago. Or I may pierce into the nerve fibers and say, and then connect the extreme irritation of the nervous system to a specific organ where those nerve fibers are present the most. So, for example, let's speak on women's health for a second. In the iris, whether it's a brown iris or a blue iris or a green iris, nerve irritation or an extreme irritated nervous system is characterized by what we call nerve rings, where these really white rings will circle around the iris, and if it's present or heavily saturated in a specific organ region, will tell the iridologist where the nerve irritation is affected the most. And not only that, me, in my thinking, I come with iridology from a metaphysical and spiritual lens. Let's say a woman has a lot of nerve rings in her ovary area, right? In her uterine area, right? And then we go into the right iris, which the right iris will show more of what's happening on the left brain hemisphere. So that deals with more logic, that deals with more, living in reality. And that also deals with expressing yourself physically, meaning, or in other words, for example, sexual energy. And so there's a part of the iris in the brain region that literally is diagonal in the right iris to the ovary area. So if there's some challenges in the ovary area with the nerve rings heavily saturated there, then there's some markings in that it's called the sexual perversion area of the iris. This can tell me that the woman may have challenges with creation. She may have challenges or frigidity when it comes to sexual expression. There may be some sexual trauma, and that doesn't always mean SAs, sexual assault, or the R word or anything like that. It just can mean that she has challenges trusting. She has challenges releasing herself in that way. What we have been, and also her belief about sex and what sex is, and so it's really these. If I see markings in those areas, I can almost guarantee that woman has a challenge having an orgasm too, because that again, that all deals with expression and fully releasing. In order to get to that pinnacle peak in sexual expression, you have to fully trust not only yourself but the person that you are experiencing that sexual energy with. So again, iridology is more than just looking at physical organs, which is your eyes, and your eyes are more than physical organs. Again, they're holographic maps to your multi-dimensional selves. And so when we really take this science serious, you will find that, wow, you had the answers all along to all parts of yourself. And what I'm always reiterating and be redundant about is that nothing happens in the physical body without being governed by the spiritual body. So if there's any challenges in any specific organ region, it's already what your spirit is really trying to communicate or attempting to communicate to you via You can look at it like RFs, right? Radio frequencies. Like, what is your spirit emitting? What is your spirit trying or attempting? I don't like the word try. Attempting to get through to you, right? And so by the time the dis-ease has become chronic, the marking in your iris has been there for years. And I constantly urge people to really let that sink in, to really understand that by the time a disease has become chronic, or you've been diagnosed with something such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, or any of these life-threatening diseases, the iris has already told a story, and it's already been there for, I would say, I when it comes to time is, a construct. I have to say that, let's just say it's been there way before. Matter of fact, it's been there since you came to Earth. When I look into a child's iris, and I talk about this before too, when I look into a child's iris literally will tell me everything that he or she will go through in their lifetime. Can a child's iris show markings in the pancreas as young as 5 years old, even though they may not be dealing with diabetes, right? Can a child's iris show markings in the heart region, even if they may not be dealing with heart disease, right? Can your iris show these markings in these specific organ regions, whether it's your liver, whether it's your spleen, whether it's your gut, whether it's your thyroid? Can it show all of this even in your childhood years? Yes. Yes, it can. And I'm going to sip some water on that. Yes. Yes, it can. And so going into this 2026 year, I really, really trust that you begin to see yourselves as the powerful, divine constructs that you are. I mean, all of this, we constantly, a lot of people are beginning to realize that this is a holographic universe, right? That everything that you see, everything that you think, everything that you experience reflects back to you. And that's exactly what the iris is reflecting what it is that you are challenged with and what it is that you need and how to navigate, right? I'm always saying that you weren't just dropped here. A lot of people think that they were just dropped here on this planet with no map, and you were created to just wake up every day, go to a job that you don't want to go to, pay bills, take care of your children, make dinner, watch TV, go to bed, and do the same thing over and over again. No. Okay? We've been duped into believing that. And deep down somewhere, you know that life is more than that. Like, this experience is more than that. So you have the map. You have this amazing universe within you. You have the power within you to heal thyself. And that's where we come in with the science of iridology. Okay, really piercing the body via the eyes well before symptoms are experienced. Okay, so I really trust that brings it home for you, because when we have this victim mindset, when something is going on with our health and we don't know what it is, and then we begin to fall victim into systems that really is fairly new, y'all. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, the medical industry as we know it is not even 200 years old. What are we in, 2025? I wouldn't even say it's even 300 years old. And some people speculate that this planet is billions of years old. Yet, we fall victim to a system that's only been created 300 years ago. I mean, what were we doing before that? I mean, how were we healing ourselves? And, a lot of people would say, well, we were just dying. Then vaccines came along and all of this stuff came along and just saved the day. Like we didn't know what we were doing. Children were not living past 10 years old. I mean, that's, for real. A lot of that is, lies that has been passed down to constantly make people believe that you have to be dependent on something outside of yourself when you are what you've been looking for, right? And I'm going to actually read, I want to read something really quick because this was like so powerful when I had read it, right? So it was a book. It's called the Papyrus Ebris by Ancient Egyptian Medicine by Dr. Cyril P. Bryan. And he goes on to say this. I'm going to actually pull it up right here. I had it pulled up. Give me 1 second, y'all. I had it. Okay, so here he stated, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So one of the things that he stated in his book, when he talks about there is no separation between science, religion, magic, or reason. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. That is one of my favorite parts in the book because it talks about that there's no such thing as a separatism, right? We have created separatism in our society today. We have fragmented everything today. Hence, look at how we look at health, right? When we have a challenge in a specific organ region, you go to that specific specialist. And specialists are so heavily focused rather than looking at the whole. There's no holism anymore, right? You go to your gynecologist for gynecological issues. You go to your urologist for urinary issues. You go to your hematologist for blood issues. You go to these specific specialists for health challenges. But you in looking at the body in that fragmented way will constantly keep you in an illusion that your health is not in your hands, because again, everything is split, everything is separated, and you're going to your gynecologist, and let's say you have some kind of infection, right? Well, your gynecologist is not skilled in gastroenterology, right? They're not skilled when it comes to the gut. So they're not going to say, hey, you need to cleanse your gut. You need to focus on your liver, because these organs are connected to why you're having these, these challenges, these recurrent infections. So let's get you on some probiotics, get you a colonic, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. No, let's pump you up with antibiotics to kill the bacteria, which that's not the root of the problem. And so that's the challenge that we have in today's society, where separatism has become the norm. And so the more we constantly separate science between, what is called magic, or, how someone can literally transform their health without the use of medications. I mean, people look at that as magic, right? And so because wow, you did this without dependency on anything outside of yourself. You believed in your own innate ability to heal, right? Your own inner ability to heal. So he goes on to say, as knowledge grew, theories were expanded and applied to things they weren't originally meant to explain. Over time, those expansions became normalized, woven into our tradition. Even after the core principle was proven false or outdated, The practices built around it continued because people had gotten used to them. Wow. I'm going to repeat that last part. Even after the core principle was proven false or outdated, the practices built around it continued because people had gotten used to them. These practices had acquired a certain hold on the imagination and persisted out of habit, belief, or emotional attachment. Isn't that what we're seeing today? Right? Most people know, or we're now starting to come into greater knowledge of, holistic medicine. The body is capable of healing itself, but because this core principle that we still believe, like, okay, for example, right, the germ theory, that is like the top, that's like the top example I can give of that statement right there. Even after the core principle was proven false or outdated, the practices built around it continued because people had gotten used to them. The practice built around the germ theory is false and outdated. The germ theory is false. It's been proven over and over again that the germ theory is false, right? But again, it's still being continued. Why? Because people had gotten used to them. The practices had acquired, the germ theory had acquired a certain hold on the imagination, and is persisting out of habit, belief, and emotional attachment. People still emotionally believe that a germ that's sitting on a table can somehow jump into your body, replicate itself over, and just make you like extremely ill, can cause a virus in your body, and now you're sick. People are emotionally attached and have this belief strongly that you can go outside, it's freezing cold, and you can get sick, right? Not saying that, you should not put a coat on when it's cold outside. Yeah, you're supposed to cover up because that's, keeping your body warm, keeping your blood warm. That's a given. But looking at still the germ theory, and thinking that this magical germ, something outside of yourself, can make you sick and cause harm to your vessel, has been proven false, yet it is still practiced. If the person, which I constantly am redundant with this story, the person who created the germ theory, Louis Pasteur, even stated on his deathbed that he was wrong. It is not the germ that causes disease, but it's the terrain of the person, the host, that allows the germ to thrive in their body based upon its overpollution. We're practicing things out of emotional attachment and belief. And so for a person who's grown up into thinking that medications and Western medicine is here to save us, when you come along with an idea of something called iridology, we start to refer to as that eye thingy. Oh, that thing. Because iridology, all it is, it leads back to you. It helps you put the power of your health in your hands, as you have always been the healer that you look outside of yourself for. That you look to other people to help you to heal yourself, when you had that power all along. The answers to your health has been just written on your face since you were born, right? It's literally been there ever since you were born. So I don't want this video to be super, super, super long. I just wanted to drive that home because I really want you all to come into 2026 with the mindset that you have been the doctor all along. How amazing is it to go to a doctor and all you do is sit there and they look in your eyes and they tell you what you're challenged with. Oh, and things that only you and God knows. And then not only that, you get a clear plan, a clear, structured, personalized, comprehensive plan how to correct these challenges, and then you start working on them accordingly. That's what I do. I am here. The doctor is in. And if you're ready and you're really serious about elevating your health in 2026, schedule your appointment with me. Let's do it. Let's get you in. Let's start off this year with the magic that you already have. No more victim mindset. No more feeling like you are a victim in this realm. I mean, you are a victor. We're so powerful, right? You have the maps. You have the key. I'm just here to help you open the door, right? And then after that, you're like, wow, oh my God, this is, it's been there all along. Absolutely, yes. And then I use labs as well, right? I use labs to be able to confirm what your iris is saying. I do it all. It's a whole naturopathic experience. Iridology is one piece of the puzzle. It's a big piece, I might add, but it's one piece of the puzzle. I use all, herbalism, iridology. It's all intertwined. Okay. So I can't wait to serve you during your appointment. And really, all I'm doing is reminding you of who you are. We've had spiritual amnesia, and it's time for you to come on home. Come on home to source. Source is within you. Come on home. You strayed away, but you're here watching this video. So you're getting the reminder that you so longed for. Okay. Thank you so much for staying to the end. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Peace and love.